Oh, I'm live already. Hi everyone, my name is Isaac Kashoka. Welcome to the Kashoka Show. I'm your host, Isaac Kashoka. Today I want to continue with the stories of my life. And I remember very well last time I ended that when I was in primary 2, that is class 2, at Kamlalani Primary School. I also mentioned that in class 1, I developed eye issues, and after developing eye issues, I think that's when multiple sclerosis was slowly kicking in. And as you know me, I'm a person who believes in a positivity and also preaching all I can about multiple sclerosis. We all know multiple sclerosis in Kenya and in Africa at large is very rare, and ever since I was diagnosed, I took it upon me to preach about multiple sclerosis. Well, it's not an easy thing, it's not something that is quite easy for people, but it is here. So, since I contracted it, uh, we push with it. So, I go into my story now. Having been born, as you remember in the last episode, having been born in the deep inside Kibwezi East constituency in Kenya, Makueni County in particular. I went to Komlalani Primary School, a school which is deep inside the heart of Ukambani. That is far very much into Ukambani, and that's why I schooled. I remember in primary school I used to be number one all the way. Sorry, I had to adjust that one. I used to be number one all the way to class 6. Every time I was number one, every time I was becoming number one, and it's not the number one of African parents whereby they say, I was very much performing, but now you tell us you are performing, but your children are not performing. So what's that? That's equally a joke in one way or the other. So basically, I am in primary school. I'm in class 3. I pushed through class 3. Then in class 3, particularly term 3, we had what we call National Teacher Strike. National Teacher Strike was a strike which pulled the edges of this country. All teachers went on a strike, they downed their tools. Well, I don't say it's a good thing for people to strike, but my opinion is usually that as you work, definitely you expect rewards for your job. So I can't blame them. I can't say it was something bad for them to do. So they led the strike. So after leading the strike, what would they do? They were had a salary. I don't know the percentage. I was a child, so I don't know. They were salary, so teachers were able to take home a good amount of money. And also, being a child of a teacher, trust to me, I supported this strike 100% because I knew something good will happen and my father will come home with an extra bread next month. So, in one or the other, I support the strike. I was happy that they were striking to be added salaries. So now, I school in class 3, and this time round, we are not using one book, we are using several books. But remember one thing, MS is usually something inborn. Remember, MS is already in me and it is working. And when you see as a Kashoka, you know I'll talk about multiple sclerosis, that is MS. I will talk about it definitely. That's why most of the time I'm in my orange t-shirt or my orange shirt. Even when I go to TV, I'll be in my orange shirt. So it is very predictable for me because I want to talk about MS in Africa at large. So now, back to my story again. Sorry, I digressed. Back to my story. So now it is. I'm in class 3. I school. I go to school definitely at 12. If you schooled in the countryside, I can say being in the countryside was one of the most interesting things. Countryside, you would eat something called I don't know their name in Kiswahili or English or anything, but there are two things we used to eat. One, I know the Kiswahili name, it's korosho. There was a korosho tree somewhere along the way from school on the way home. So we used to pass by there. And then third thing we used to eat is something called nzaya. Nzaya, nzaya is I don't know. Nzaya is I don't know how I can put it. Nzaya is a fruit, a very sweet fruit, but there is very little to it. I don't have a specimen. Very little to it. It is mostly found in Ukambani, and once you eat it, the seed is very big. Not the big, just big, the size of an inch or a half an inch. So that is Nzaya for you. The English name for Nzaya disappeared in my head, but I'm sure if you are an African indigenous Kamba, you can relate on what it is right now. Welcome all who have joined, by the way. I'm so glad that you're here. So we move on. We used to leave school at 12, 1. So the idea for leaving school, we would leave school and just go home. But I remember between leaving school, normally my duty or my job when I go home was to go to the cattle shed open for the cows. I take them to graze. Normally, this job was done between 4 and 6. So you would open for the cattle at 4 and then go to graze them. But now the funny thing is we've left school at 1 or 2 because ideally we used to eat lunch and go home. So it's any time between 1 and 2 because the school bell for going back to class was usually at 2. So we would leave school at 2. Walking from the school to my home is around tops 25 minutes. Tops. That is for the slowest person. But since I am a child will always be a child, we'd go playing, jumping around, and I would get home at around just a few minutes to 4. Because I remember I never used to do any other activity once I get home. I used to go home, and after getting home, I go straight kulisha ng'ombe. And that is the funny thing. I used to go straight to graze the cattle. So I don't know the time we were all this time. We were playing along the road. We were enjoying ourselves. I told you, growing up in the countryside is one of the best things in life. So I'm not telling people to look forward to that, but growing up in the countryside is one of the best things. And basically, what's there is we've got home. Having got home, there is getting cows to go and graze. We go graze cows, and then after grazing cows, I think it was during this time, one of the evenings, or one of the evenings. It was a Friday. We were grazing. My brother, my elder brother, big up to him by the way. My elder brother, our friend that is our neighbor called Lucy. We were grazing with her, and myself. So we were 3. So grazing, the 3 of us were grazing cows at one of our lands, which by God's grace is still there. We were grazing, and then we saw a tortoise. I don't know what was a tortoise. What did it learn for us? So we started stoning it. We stoned it, and then at some point, I threw a stone, and then I went for it. When I was going for it, my elder brother, that is my immediate elder brother, didn't know that I've gone for it. So when I was going for it, he threw his stone. So it hit me back at the back of the head here. So I started bleeding, and I'm like, what do I do? I cried a bit, but they calmed it down. And then I started bleeding, bled for some time. Then I don't know. I must big up Africa. Africa is full of innovation. I remember the two of them got sisal, and then they beat the leaf thing of a sisal, which looks like aloe vera. They beat it, then the liquid that comes out from it, they they took it and poured on top of my head. Even when you look at my head, I still have a scar in the middle here. Not exactly middle, but there's somewhere with a scar. I know where I got that scar from. I was Nililengwa. So now basically they put the sesame soup onto the head, and I was healed. And then they gave me a threat: don't tell your mother and father. Don't tell our mother and father. That is the threat that I got, and I followed the threat. Sikusama, I never said anything. I just went home, behaved as if everything is normal. They washed me also. We have a river down there called the Kambo River. Uh, I went home, and then I never told my mother. I never told my father. So hiyo maneno ikasaulika. Everybody forgot that thing. Because it's a secret anyway. Anyway, why were we killing our tortoise? Why were we stealing our tortoise? Anyway, by the way, come to think of it, why? Our tortoise is something which is harmless. Even if it starts running right now, you'll not even get to it. So we got there. We organized. We got home, and never parents. So that was class 3. Class 4, I remember you've joined the upper primary school. If you schooled in a public primary school in Kenya, I think you get what I mean. Upper primary school, class 4 was at the corner of the classes. We had class 1, 2, then a very big tank of water, the concrete tanks, the old school tanks, the concrete tank, and then we had class 3, then corner. At the corner is where we had class 4 now. At the corner is where class 4 was. So now I've got to class 4. And remember, I've been a prefect ever since class 1. But class 4, come to class 4, I am no longer prefect. No, class 4 I was a prefect too. My class teacher in class 4 was Mrs. Mutunga C. That was one of the best times. Yeah, it was Mrs. Mutunga C. And she was a co-wife to my class 2 teacher. So we also got to know that. Class we enjoy life. Now I'm writing with a biro. Remember, writing with a biro for a child is something so great. So I'm now writing with a biro, and I am enjoying life. Ideally, I am really enjoying life. So we write, and then we are happy. Then at class 4 is also the class where I was able to do GHC, that is Geography, History, and Civics. Yeah, that's what it means. Geography, History, and Civics. That is the class where I was able to do it, because class 1, 2, 3 were doing just the basic subjects. That is English, Swahili, mathematics. Kikamba was a subject also, which was science was not there. So class 4, GHC comes and science comes also. So it's a big thing. We are the big boys now. We are rolling. We are doing everything that we can. So we joined class 4. I schooled class 4. Class 4 was not marked with a lot of issues for my life. Then I moved to class 5. Class 5, I remember, that was the very first time I left home to Nairobi. Up to date, I remember the bus which we took to Nairobi. It was called Manza Ross. It was I don't know. It was a cozy van. It is a big van anyway, but it was Toyota. But the name was Manza Ross. I have never seen them again. And then coincidentally, when I went to the university, much later on, they are the buses I found. applying that route. There were like 5 or 3. They are the vehicles I found playing that route. And also nowadays I see most of the schools, because of budget, it seems like the bus is very cheap. Most of the schools have purchased them. So now, class 5 we school. As I've said, the first time I come to Nairobi. And why do I come to Nairobi? I come to Nairobi because once again I have what you call eye issues. My eyes are paining, my eyes are swelling every time, my eyes are doing everything, every doable thing just to frustrate me. They are swelling, they are becoming painful all the time. But now, funny enough, uh, even if they were paining, when I went to the hospital, I was told this young man you are seeing here does not have any issue with the eyes. Remember, as I said before, my eye problem in the past could have been a mess setting in, or could have been a mess thriving inside my body. I didn't know, and nobody knew. So now, that's it. I go to class 5. I come to Nairobi. Also in Nairobi, as usually say in Kenya, enyewe mshamba ni mshamba. You can take someone out of the village, but you cannot take the village out of someone. And that is very true because when I got to Nairobi, I got to our firstborn's home. Remember, he was already in Nairobi. He was quite well up. I went to his home. I remember it was it a bedsitter? Really, no. It was a single room. It was a single room in Transami. Transami is in Eastlands. That is near Cabanas. When you leave Cabanas, you are going towards using the airport North Road, is where you find Transami. So I remember he used to leave me in the house when I was going to work. After leaving me in the house, used to the food we ate yesterday. The food we ate yesterday is the food I used to eat for lunch. But as I said, I am a boy. I'm mischievous in my own way. There's a day I remember very well. That one is one of the days I might never forget in my life. I was eating viazi, that is potatoes, with a knife, and I was like, eh. When I came back home, my friend I was caned. My older brother, that is not my immediate, our firstborn. I said we are 10, and I am number 9, so that is number 1. Number 1 is very tough. My friend, I was beaten. I was caned. And then I was like, what is the problem of someone eating with a knife? And later on is when I learned that that is lack of basic etiquette, and that's why I'm eating with a knife. And alhamdulillah, things happened, and we moved forward. I learned the hard way. I was caned, and I was told not to eat with a knife again. I also remember I didn't know how to operate a TV. He used to come to leave me with one station only. That is KTN. Remember the old KTN? The KTN of 2000s, 2002, somewhere there. It was in 2004. I came to Nairobi in 2004. That's when I first stepped foot in Nairobi. So now, the first time he told me, my friend, if we are living with you, you must learn basic manners. He used to live the TV with KTN, and I remember very well, I used to fear the remote. My friend, I used to fear the remote. The remote was like a god to me. I never used to play around with it. I thought it will explode. And nowadays, children, they don't even fear phones. And I'm wondering why. But anyway, it seems exposure is something very nice. So I used to fear the remote. Used to live only KTN, and I could not change to NTV or Citizen. I don't know whether Citizen was there that time. Citizen, because I was afraid of the remote. Then I would watch KTN from morning to evening. Then the evening he comes, he's the one who is able now to change from one channel to another. So it changes for me. Basically what's there is those were some of the experiences which brought me to where I am today. And by the way, class 5, the class teacher for class 5 was Mrs. Molly. That is the only class which I was not a prefect or a monitor for this case. I was not a prefect, I was not a monitor. That is also the only class which I was number 2. Remember I said from class 1 to class 6 I was always number 1. Class 5 is also the only class which I was number 2. My mother and the teacher, I don't know, the teacher just hated me in one way or the other. Or the teacher disliked me, let me use those words. The teacher disliked me in a way. I thrived also. I went to class 6. Class 5, as I'm trying to emulate here, or rather to express here, there is nothing much to report about my life in class 5. Class 5 was a hell of a life. Then I moved to class 6. In class 6, remember we are still using biros to write, and class 6 we continue studying, we continue competing. I think competition is a part of life. But then guys, if you look at my eyes, one of my eyes, this eye, that is my left eye. Nowadays usually looks quite small. I don't know, yeah, quite small. Let me say quite small, smaller than the right eye because of MS. But anyway, we thank God we are alive. I've seen people who have struggled with MS. I've seen people, especially when I watch YouTube videos, I've seen people who have really struggled with MS. And back to my story now. Class 5, class 6, sorry. Class 6 is basically the best part of my school, of my primary school life. In class 6 is when I got to know the potential I had. I got to know that I can act. I got to know that I am a performing person. I got also to know in class 6 that I can be a public speaker if I want. And that's it. Class 6 uncovered a shell. I joined the drama club in class 6. Class 6 is the best thing. Bro, let me tell you, class 6 is the best thing. My class 6 was the year that the teacher who was our class teacher, Mrs. Mutua, may her soul rest in peace, in eternal peace. Mrs. Mutua tried to bring out the best of Isaac. That is the best, the pure best. That is the creme de la creme of Isaac. They tried to bring out. So class 6, I enjoyed life. I was happy. I was enjoying. It was an interesting thing. I got to know that I can talk in front of people. I got to start building my confidence. That's why up to date I'm very confident. I got also to be able to know that I can be a good actor, although I have never been in any acting gig. In class 6, it was very enjoyable, my guys. I can tell you for free. It was one of the times when life was very nice. And I can say if life was very nice, I enjoyed. So class 6 it is, schooled. But after upon studying class 6, remember you are using a biro, Remember also one of the teachers who used to gain people very much in school called Mr. Mota, who was also, he started teaching us science in class 6. It was enjoyable. Trust me, I have so much to say about class 6. But if I continue saying it here, I think we'll waste the entire video here. So now, remember also class 6 is where you are taught adolescence. Remember also in class 6, I'm about, how old was I in class 6? Class 6 was so I was around 13. Was it 13? Yeah, 13, 12, somewhere there. So, class 6, we are being taught adolescence. And remember also, most of us there are becoming adolescents. So, whatever you're being taught is resonating with what you're experiencing here. So, you're being taught something, and then you're reasoning, and then you're thinking you are getting attracted to girls. You are getting attracted to girls because I've never been gay. Actually, in my view, well, it is good for someone to choose their life, but for me, I hate gayism. I hate gay people. So, class 6, we were taught many things, and we enjoyed. Basically, we enjoyed our lives in class 6, and then after we've been taught many things, we've learned many things. Here is the point where I tell you my primary school nickname. My primary school nickname was Kayelo. Kayelo because I had yellow underwear. So class 6, we finished school. We finished class 6, and then my mother has a view that my children, the last two, that is me number 9 and our number 10. Remember, our family has 10 children. Me number 9 and our number 10. Yeah, my mother says it's not good for my children to continue schooling in this school. Let me take them to Nairobi, my friend. We are going to school in Nairobi. Ha! Me, there's nothing you're telling me. If I'm going to school in Nairobi, it means that life will be very sweet. Then we come to Nairobi. I'll continue with that story in my next video. In the meantime, hit the like button, subscribe, and also they share this video so that other people might see it. I'm trying to share the story of my life so that it might not encourage you, but I'm 100% sure it will encourage someone else somewhere. And as I sign off, I'd like to tell you a madman dancing in the market. The scene is only funny. Remember, I said a madman dancing in the market. The scene is very funny, or the act is very funny. Actually, it is laughable. You are laughing. It is very funny. But you stop laughing when you realize it is your kin. I don't know whether I'm very clear. A madman dancing in the market. The scene is very funny, but you stop laughing or you stop enjoying the scene. You stop like enjoying what you are seeing when you realize it is your kin or it is someone from your blood. So never ever laugh at someone who is mad. In my next video, which I don't know whether I'll do it, I might talk about signs and symptoms of multiple sclerosis. Before I go to episode 3 of my story, I will talk about signs and symptoms of multiple sclerosis. That is the signs and symptoms which I've personally experienced. Remember, in this channel, I talk about my life experiences of multiple sclerosis. So in the next video, I will talk about the signs and symptoms, That is the symptoms which I've experienced for multiple sclerosis. Otherwise, bless you. Subscribe to our channel. It will be very, very enjoyable, and it will be very blessing of you. And then you can share this video, and you'll be blessed too. Remember, I'm a believer and I'm a singer. So God bless you. Have a good time. Next time I'll start from the moment when I left Cambo town, that is my local home, to where we went next. So keep it here and keep tuned in. Share the video. Thank you. God bless you.